Thanks for watching County Report this week. I'm Susan Kennedy. We start this time with a briefing on remediation plans for the Silver Spring Transit Center. A series of cracks found in the structures and problems with the thickness of the concrete have delayed the project by close to 2 years. If all goes well, officials hope to begin the repair work by late summer.
Drains, railings, curb cuts for ramps.
Officials assured council members that the beleaguered structure can be fixed and will be placed in full and safe operation. Council members were also told no taxpayer money will be spent on the fixes.
This time, we do not anticipate any additional costs to the county, except for the possibility of some additional staff time. But again, if this is only about a 6 to 12-month effort at the outside, it's not a great deal of costs, and we don't anticipate coming back to council at this time for any increased appropriation requests.
In this first briefing requested by the council, Dye's laid out plans to remediate the transit center, which includes tearing down 2 concrete strips on the building's 2nd floor. Though actual repairs are not scheduled to begin until the end of the summer, Dye's told us other work is already underway.
Work is underway. Pour strips come first. The executive has been very clear that the safety of the facility is his paramount concern, hence the direction to begin the pour strip repair. Then comes the design of the balance of the remediation, the permitting, and then the directive to begin that work, which will occur in about 3 months.
Council President Nancy Navarro and Transportation and Environment Committee Chair Roger Berliner requested the updates by letter last week. They say they are pleased with the initial direction of the executive's plans.
I think it's important to remember that the council's responsibility in terms of our oversight is to ensure that this particular remediation takes place, that it takes place on time, and also that we protect the taxpayers' liability in this entire process.
Again, no one's happy about where we are, but our focus has to be moving forward, not looking back. And I think this is a legitimate, good plan to move forward. So I think our county executive and his team are doing the right things, and it's not going to happen overnight, and people's expectations have to be that we're just going to move forward step by step.
Council members say they are looking out for the best interests of the taxpayers as the repairs get underway, and that deciding who is liable for the errors will be taken up after the center is open and serving constituents.
What we want to do is protect the taxpayers' liability. We don't want to be in a situation where we have to go back and appropriate more money.
The legislative session wrapped up in Annapolis, and Executive Leggett celebrated the accomplishments of the county's delegation, praising them for obtaining much-needed transportation funding to invest in transit, roads, and other projects. Lorna Virgili was at the news event. Lorna?
Susan, there were many accomplishments during the legislative session in Annapolis this year, but for the Montgomery County delegation, it was all about transportation, 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 and that will come with a gas tax. Executive Leggett and council members celebrated Team Montgomery, the county's state delegation, for approving a gas tax increase to fund transit projects.
We estimate that there are probably close to 100,000 jobs that are related in some form or fashion to our ability to resolve our transportation challenges. Whether you're talking about the Purple Line, what we're doing at White Flint, White Oak, the Carter City Transit, the Science City, you name it, it is tied to transportation.
And as we started our budget hearings last night, I can tell you that it's a different tone, but I think that has to do with the notion that as we had to cut so many different positions and programs in the last 3 years, $1.2 billion of gap that we had to close, the question was always, and what are you doing to grow the base? What are you doing to grow revenues? And for us, this issue of master plans and this issue of moving forward with transportation infrastructure is tied to that economic development strategy.
For years, Executive Leggett stood practically alone advocating for increasing the statewide gasoline tax to grow transportation funds. The effort failed in last year's legislative session, and this year, the county set transportation funding as its #1 priority for the session.
we zeroed in on the target this year, and everybody was together on it, and we simply refused to leave Annapolis until we passed the Comprehensive Transportation Infrastructure Investment Act of 2013, and we had total unity and cohesion and focus on that.
The possible 5% sales tax to the wholesale price of gasoline would likely go up each year, and its net effect on gas prices will depend on the price of fuel.
We need the Purple Line, we need the Corridor Cities Transitway, we need money for Ride-On, we need the Watkins Mill Interchange, and so many other projects around the county. And I would say that this, where other jurisdictions had other priorities, this was our #1 priority, and the governor, the speaker, and the Senate president knew that this was the #1 priority in Montgomery County, and knew that since we, as the economic engine of the state of Maryland, we needed this money, we needed to keep business moving, we needed to keep people moving, and so we were delighted to come up with this success this year.
The delegation was also congratulated for passing other measures, including the state's gun violence law, the abolishment of the death penalty, and driver's licenses for undocumented residents. In Rockville, for County Report This Week, I'm Lorna Virgili.
At 151,000 square feet, it is the largest Costco on the East Coast of the United States, and it opened its doors this week at Westfield Shopping Town in Wheaton. Executive Leggett joined Costco executives, employees, and local residents for the ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the store's grand opening. The project was spurred by a $4 million investment from the county's Economic Development Fund.
Yes, I think so. When you look at the number of jobs, the permanent jobs that we have, look at the fact that this was an unutilized facility to begin with, the departure of the HEX. You look at the long-term investment that we have here, I think we'll get our investment fourfold in very short order.
The new Costco fills the space left by the old Hex store, and it is part of the revitalization of Wheaton. It is estimated that the store has added 475 new permanent jobs in the county. Also this week, introduction of 2 resolutions that seek to lower the county's energy tax. Council President Nancy Navarro's proposal would reduce the tax by 5%. Councilmember Phil Andrews' resolution would cut that rate by 10%.
It's time now to reduce it. And last year, the council took the first step and reduced it by 10%. So the increase went down 10%. That was a good start. I'm proposing that we reduce it another 10%, which costs about $11.5 million. We can pay for that by reducing the excessive pay increases that the county executive has agreed to county employees, for county employees, of 13.5% to 19.5% over the next 2 years. Reduce those by 35%. Employees who are eligible for those increases will continue to get a raise, but not quite as large. And employees deserve a raise after several years of difficult times, but it shouldn't be excessive, and it should be one that's sustainable.
The Council's Education Committee has begun its review of the budget for Montgomery County Public Schools. The board is requesting an increase of 2.65% over last year's budget and close to $10 million over maintenance of effort. Committee member Valerie Irvin briefed us on this very first work session.
But we want the public to know that in Montgomery County we have the highest per pupil spending in the state of Maryland, and with that we know that there are responsibilities, and we want to draw attention to the fact that we should all be working together to close this growing achievement gap, and we want to ask questions of the school system about what are the best practices. And there's something that I noticed that I was a little bit upset about, and that is that the numbers of counselors and pupil personnel workers and other support staff in the school system have been cut over the last few years, and they're not putting money back into those positions. And so we're asking a lot of questions.
Still to come on County Report this week, the president of Montgomery College calls for a continued proactive approach in addressing the changes facing higher education. And Choice Hotels officially checks in to Montgomery County. Stay with us.
Be part of the fun on April 22nd for a day in the life of Montgomery County. Connect with hundreds of your friends and neighbors as they post pictures and videos of their world too. Here's how. It's simple. Email photos or videos to pics@mymcmedia.org. It's that easy. Then click to mymcmedia.org and discover what everyone else has shared of their day in the life. Join the fun April 22nd. See you then. Sponsored by Montgomery County Employees Federal Credit Union.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back. After 40 years in Silver Spring, an internationally known hotels company is now calling downtown Rockville the home of its new global headquarters. Just a few days before employees moved in, MyMC Media's Sonia Burke toured the company's new state-of-the-art offices.
Choice Hotels has moved its corporate headquarters from Silver Spring to downtown Rockville, and the move is more than just physical.
For us, this is a new beginning and a new start for Choice.
After 40 years in Silver Spring, over 400 Choice Hotel employees are now reporting to work in downtown Rockville. As the company's president climbs the stairs at a recent tour of his new state-of-the-art headquarters, it's clear he's focused on the future.
We are a company that is, I think, going to be a pretty interesting place to work. A great environment to work in, and a company that is going to be very different 5 years from now than it is today.
Throughout the building, open staircases, airy workspaces, and a variety of non-conference room meeting areas can be found with an emphasis on inspiring creativity. The new building highlights the company's past, too. There's a history wall, and the color scheme incorporates reds and yellows, a nod to the company's beginnings in the late 1930s.
The colors are important to us. They were the primary colors of the original Quality Court Hotels, which was a group of 7 hotels.
Another distinct feature, the central staircase, which connects floors to encourage interaction among employees.
We're hoping we get them out of the elevators, they're using the stairs, they're seeing each other, and it represents more of a community versus I take the elevator to my cube and I do my work and I go home.
Home may be the last place these employees want to go. In addition to the innovative workspaces, there is a 4th floor outdoor patio that features a fire pit. There's a cafe area, and model guest rooms showcase the company's various hotel brands. Just across the street and under construction, the company's newest Cambria Suites Hotel, which is expected to open in 2015.
We're glad to be here. In Rockville, we've been welcomed with open arms. The city and the county and the state have done a terrific job to help support us in this effort. We're very grateful to them.
In Rockville, for County Report this week, I'm Sonia Burke reporting.
Montgomery College President Deron Pollard held her 2nd annual State of the College address for college employees and students. Like last year, it was a virtual event that also allowed attendees to participate online or watch on television.
Dr. Pollard was joined by a small group at the Cultural Arts Center on the Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus and by the rest of the college community online. Her primary message, a sense of urgency for Montgomery College's future.
Right now, I think that we see private organizations, private foundations driving the change agenda for higher education right now. And while we benefit, obviously, from their support of us, they are experimenting with new ideas of higher education, and we're having to respond to it. They're driving the agenda. I would prefer, as an organization, that we are doing the acting ourselves rather than waiting for someone to come and act upon us. We don't want to have that happen. That inspires, for me, a profound sense of urgency for the future of this organization. And I would offer to you that we stand at a critical juncture as an institution. We must either choose to embrace this urgency that's around us, and then we must also align that with our institutional practices in such a way that we're able to know that that change is seeping throughout the organization.
After her address, Pollard took questions from people gathered in the room or watching online. She concluded her message with,
to revolve we must evolve. To revolve, we must evolve.
For County Report this week at Montgomery College's Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus, I'm Dan Rankin.
MCPS students took a recent trip to Johns Hopkins University to bake, learn, and give back to the community. MCPS TV has the story.
For more than 500 MCPS fourth graders, math and science came to life through the art of bread baking. The Life Skills Bread Baking event was sponsored by King Arthur Flour and Johns Hopkins University. The event aimed to teach students about baking bread using science and math skills.
The fourth grade science curriculum very closely parallels the science curriculum in this particular project, so they go hand in hand, which is really great.
During the program, students from 8 MCPS elementary schools watched an interactive bread baking demo and saw measurements and chemistry in action.
I got an opportunity to make bread because I've never made it. So it's like my first time to learn how to make bread, and I love it.
After the demo, the students participated in a hands-on science trade show. Several companies presented fun science activities for the students, from healthy eating habits, radiation detection, and energy transfer to learning how to jumpstart their hearts.
When kids get to do the hands-on science, when they get their hands dirty and see what it's really like, it has a much bigger impact than if they're sitting in a classroom and just reading books and watching videos.
King Arthur Flour donated enough supplies for students to bake 2 loaves of bread, one for their families and one to be donated to local organizations that help feed those in need in our community. Students and staff walked away from this special field trip with a new excitement and appreciation for science and math.
I want them to leave thinking that science is fun and exciting and everywhere.
I like the fake germs because it was really cool that you could, with that special light, you could see germs even though germs are invisible.
County businesses and residents may be able to see savings on fire insurance premiums. This has to do with the fact that the county's fire service enhancements have improved its public protection classification rating by the Insurance Services Office. The new rating reflects an improvement from previous classification.
Effective fire suppression is dependent upon the availability of dependent and reliable water source, equipment, and staffing. And we have made those investments here in Montgomery County. Our highest priority is always the safety of our residents, and the department is very pleased with our improved ISO rating. The higher ratings directly reflect the critical investments that the county executive has made, the county council has made to the fire and rescue service and in the community.
The higher rating is based on an audit and evaluation that took place last year, and it reflects the effort by fire personnel to develop a rural water resource strategy. The Insurance Services Office collects information about municipal fire protection efforts in communities throughout the United States and is a leading supplier of statistical and underwriting information to insurance companies. When County Report this week continues, we'll find out about a recent police department campaign to keep motorists safe and an update on the Rockville Pike plan. We'll be right back.
To get information or report an emergency in Montgomery County,
do you know the right numbers to call?
Montgomery County 311.
I need a new recycling bin.
Call 311 for county information and services.
Montgomery County Police.
My car was broken into last night.
Call 301-279-8000 for crime-related non-emergencies.
Montgomery County 911.
I just saw a car crash.
That's an emergency.
Help us get help to you.
Call 911.
Only for a real emergency.
Welcome back to County Report this week. Recently, Montgomery County Police participated in a program called NINJA, or Nighttime Injury Avoidance. Officer Rebecca Innocenti is here to tell us about the fantastic results from this campaign. Officer, what can you tell us?
Sure, thank you, Susan. On April 5th, Montgomery County police officers, as well as Gaithersburg City, Rockville City, Maryland State Police, and the Sheriff's Office all participated in enforcement of nighttime seatbelt usage. These officers were stationed on the entrance and exit ramps of Interstate 495 and 270, monitoring seatbelt usage and equipment violations. Studies have shown that people are less likely to wear their seatbelts at night. So enforcement began at 10 p.m. and ended at approximately 3 a.m. Within 8 minutes of this enforcement, a driver was stopped for not wearing their seatbelt and drugs were found to be in the vehicle. And within 17 minutes of this operation beginning, an officer stopped a vehicle and the person was found to be under the influence of alcohol. All in all, over 200 seatbelt violation tickets were written. 33 alcohol citations were written, 7 people were found to be in possession of drugs and were arrested, and 14 people were found to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol and were also arrested.
Wow, this sounds like a fantastic program to keep everybody out there safe. We appreciate you coming in and telling us about it. Officer Rebecca Innocenti, Montgomery County Police. The ultimate goal of the Rockville Pike plan is to make Rockville's main thoroughfare a great place to shop, live, and commute. There have been some developments in the process, and Rockville 11's Jennifer Ligzey has an update.
Rockville's Pike Plan is the roadmap for redeveloping the city sector of Rockville Pike, and the plan was recently released for public comment.
It's kind of a picture of how we want things to be, not the way things are and not the way things are immediately going to become, but how in 30 years what we want this pike to be and how we want it to serve us.
As chair of the city's planning commission, Jerry Calistine wants residents to know that the plan for the Pike's future is a communal effort.
The people on the commission that I work with and the staff of the city, who are magnificent, by the way, plug for the city, have worked extremely hard to listen to what the people of Rockville have said they want the Pike to be, take that to heart, and produce something that I think the city and the citizens can be proud of.
The revised Rockville Pike plan envisions this 2-mile stretch of road to be transformed into a multi-way boulevard with bike lanes, better pedestrian areas, and safer access to public transportation.
And then a build out of the service roads along the side to make them more like small town street roads. And then we're also making space for the possible bus rapid transit, or RTV they're calling it now, which would be a kind of a high-speed bus line going through the area that the county is working on.
And what the county is working on is known as the White Flint Sector Plan, which, according to Calistine, calls for a more city-like vision of the Pike.
We still view Rockville as a small city, small town, and though we do go for greater density right near the south point of the Pike, near the metro and where what they're calling urban node is, we still want to maintain that small town, small city feel, which is why we taper it off to lower buildings, lower density as we go farther up.
Residents have the opportunity to weigh in on the project. Attend a public hearing on May 22 at Rockville City Hall at 7 p.m. or submit written testimony by emailing rockvillepikeplan@rockvillemd.gov or mail a letter to Rockville Planning Commission, care of Cindy Keba, City of Rockville.
We want to hear your voice. Please come, please talk, please give us your opinion. We want to hear from you, we want to know what you think, because this has to reflect what the people of Rockville want their city to be.
For more information on Rockville's Pike Plan, go online to rockvillemd.gov/Rockville's Pike.
Up next on County Report, we'll pay a visit to Montgomery County's very own tidal basin. Stay with us.
Montgomery College has received a $100,000 grant from GlaxoSmithKline to create a biotechnology and biomanufacturing scholarship. The grant will support the college's efforts to create a highly trained workforce for Maryland's biotechnology industries. MC Professor Tammy Peary has received the Chair Academy's International Exemplary Leadership Award for her ability to advance academic and administrative leadership. Peary was honored at the Academy's conference in Phoenix on April 6th. And now's a great time to check out one of the many art exhibits now showing at Montgomery College. Several provocative exhibits are on display at both the Rockville and Tacoma Park Silver Spring campuses. Visit the Arts Institute calendar online for more information.
Welcome back to County Report this week. Every spring, the Bethesda neighborhood of Kenwood transforms into a world of soft pink and white puffs as the neighborhood's cherry trees come into full bloom. And as we found out, it's some of the best cherry blossom viewing around. Some of the most beautiful cherry blossoms in the metro area aren't along the tidal basin. They are right here in Montgomery County.
I'm just enjoying the cherry blossoms.
Each year, the Bethesda enclave of Kenwood transforms from a quiet neighborhood to an unofficial cherry blossom destination. There are more than 1,200 cherry trees in this neighborhood. They were planted in the 1920s as the homes were being built by the Kennedy Chamberlain Development Company. Right now, the trees are at their peak in Kenwood, and folks from all walks of life were enjoying the spectacle of nature.
I'm going to hopefully take a stroll and take pictures. It's beauty, it's nature.
Look at how pretty. There's something really organic and really beautiful about them, and they only come out, such a short period of time, so it's a lot of fun.
We live in Washington, D.C., but we came here because it's so easy with kids to park and get here and just have a picnic and avoid the crowds and see the pretty cherry blossoms.
There is really a very, very small window of kind of bloom. It's a matter of days, and if you catch it, you consider yourself to be fortunate. Just the day before yesterday, it wasn't here, and almost overnight, it appears in its full glory. It is a wonderful place to be.
I think it's the proximity of the trees and how they form a canopy over the streets. And
it's like a fairyland. It's unbelievable. Here, you just can't believe your eyes. How beautiful it is.
Barbara Libby has lived in Kenwood since 1969 and is a member of the Neighborhood Garden Club. She told us the blossoms bring thousands of visitors to Kenwood, but most of the folks who live here are happy to share the beauty. So you're happy about this. You're proud to show your neighborhood off. Talk about that again.
Very proud of Kenwood. We love the traffic. It's irritating in a way. You can't get out of your driveway, but we're so proud, and we love to share this with other people.
If you do decide to pay a visit to this picturesque haven, wear your walking shoes. You may have to park a block or two away, and roads are jammed with folks trying to take in the sights and smells of the day.
So I don't live here, but I do a lot of work in this neighborhood, and it's unbelievable.
It's an experience you have to see to believe.
Great. Nice. Thank you.
But some would rather you stay home.
I think it's the secret in the area, yeah. This is not the first time, but we try and keep it on the DL. You don't want too many people to know about it. We love it.
And now it's time for our Pet of the Week with Kathy Stanhope.
Hi, this is Kathy Stanhope with your Pet of the Week at the Montgomery County Humane Society. And this lovely guy right here is Jetta. He's 7 years old, and he had to be given up by his previous owners. I'm not quite sure why, but they did leave a note that they're really hoping that he finds a new home. Like I said, he's 7, and he's used to being an only cat, so we don't know how he is with other animals, but he seems to be quite calm. And the thing that we do know about him is he really loves laps. He's definitely a lap kitty, so if you're looking for someone to cuddle with, this is the cat for you. And we're also told that he loves to play, and he loves balls in particular. He likes to chase balls around the house, so if you're looking also for someone to have a little fun time with, Jet is the cat you want to come and see. Now remember, I've told you this before, black cats are the hardest for us to adopt. I don't know why it is. I guess it's the superstition of black cats, but more than 40% of black cats are put down. They don't find homes. So we are looking for people to come in and adopt Jetta, because just the fact that he's a black cat is a strike against him, which is really sad because he's a nice, loving kitty. So come on down to the shelter off of Goody Drive in Rockville. You can visit us during regular business hours. You can go on the web to find out our hours. You can come and visit the animals. You can walk around, and then you just go to the front desk and you ask for help if there's a particular cat or dog that you'd like to visit. We have staff on hand here to help you pick out a pet that would be appropriate for your household and for what you're looking for. So visit us on the web also at mchumane.org, or give us a call at 773-5967. Adoption is the way to go. Always remember to adopt, don't shop. And come on down and meet Jetta and take him home with you because you need a new best friend.
Well, that does it for this edition of County Report This Week. But remember, we do want to hear from you. Share your ideas on the county's new social media site, engage.montgomerycountymd.gov, and you can also like us on Facebook. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Have a great week.